Okay, so now I went to go and get some water, and turns out those problems are a lot harder. They start getting harder than the other ones. Okay, so the first one is kind of straightforward, but then they just kind of start skyrocketing in difficulty. So a neighborhood consists of 2 hectare park and a 35 hectare residential area. Now the total number of trees is going to be 3,934. This is going to be represented by this equation right here, and they're asking us what is the best representation of x in this context. Now, what we need to know is that x represents 2, which is in this case the parks. Okay, so we can already start canceling stuff out. Anything that has residential area in my answer is not going to be right. Okay, so we can cancel out 2 of them. So now we have 50% chance of getting this question right. Now, what we're going to do at this point is the following. We can see 2 is right next to an x, meaning that they're not giving us a constant number. All right, this one right here, they're giving you a constant number, meaning that this is how many trees we have. Or no, actually, no, I'm pointing at the wrong one. This one lower down here is giving us the total number of trees, which we do not have. What we have is an actual average, right, per acre or hectare. We have it per hectare because this is considered a kind of like a variable rate of change, right? Because we learned that in class. So that one's going to be telling us that. Same thing with this one. They're giving us kind of like an average, so that would be an average of that. They're not giving the actual number of total trees that we have. All right, they give us an average, and we kind of have to figure out according to what x is. All right, so this is going to be the average of trees, and now once we multiply that by 2, then that's going to be added up to the other one, and then finally we have the total number. Okay, so that's why A is going to be our answer in this case. It's not a concrete number, it's an average. And literally that's just reading. Like for those problems, if you're having trouble reading the problems, then most likely just try to eliminate some of them and guesstimate. That's all you can do. Now for 18, that one's also kind of tricky, but what I would do, I would look at my 2 endpoints, my y-intercept and also my x-intercept over here. Now we're going to be using those 2 values. So the first one's going to be what? 0 at 40. And then the other one is going to be 60, 0. Now, what we're going to be doing those points, and whenever you get this type of problem, is that you're going to be plugging in those points into the equations. Now, what you're supposed to be getting, if I plug in x, you need to get y. All right? And if I plug in y, you need to get x. That's just how it's going to work. So in this one, on the first one, if I plug x is 0, so that turns into 0. And so now we have y equals 12. Is that true? No. And I'm supposed to be getting 40, so that's not my answer. Now the third one, same thing, right? If I plug in 0 for this one, y equals 8, that is not my answer. So we can go ahead and move to the last 2. So for the last 2, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be plugging in 0 again. So I'm going to plug in 0 right here, so that cancels out. So now we have 12. Y is equal to 480. We divide by 12. Divide by 12. And guess what we're going to get? Y is equal to, 40. We do the same thing for the other one. We plug in for 0 for x or for y. So now we do this. So we're doing this point right here. Now we have 8x is equal to 480. We divide by 8. And we get x is equal to 60. Which is exactly what we needed to get for both cases. And we can determine that this is my answer. Pretty easy. All right, now let's go ahead and do the next one. Let me erase here just so we can read it. So a circle has a radius of 3n, and a circle B has a radius of 129n. Where n is a positive constant, the area of the circle is how many times the area of the circle is A. So first of all, we need to go ahead and use the area of a circle. So A is equal to pi r squared. Now we're going to plug in both of our equations. 1 and 2 and see what we get. So we're going to have pi 3n now squared. Now that's going to give you something like this. A is equal to 9. I believe it's going to be pi n squared. Now we're going to do the same thing for the second one. But now we have 129 n squared on the outside. Now what's going to happen, and what I did with the first one, is that you grab the number and you multiply by itself 2 times. So if you're having trouble multiplying, skip this one. It's not worth your time. It's going to take you forever to do, because that's not the final thing that we need to do anyway. So what we're going to get here is going to be 81. 8, that carries over, so that one times that one's 26. That carries over is 1, 1. Okay, then with a 2 times 9 is 18. The 1 carries over. 2 times 2 is 4, then 5. And then 2 times 2 is 2. And then finally, the last one's pretty easy, 9, 2, 1. Okay, now we go ahead, right to left, so it's 1, 4, carries over, that's 2. That's what, 2, 7, 6, and that's 6. And with 1 carrying over, obviously, right? So that way we went 6 and then 1. And this is what we have, 16,060.41. Okay, so that's actually what's going to go over here. So A is equal to 16,641 pi n squared. Now, as you can see, we have things that are the same. So we have pi squared and pi or n squared. So we can eliminate those. So we're just trying to see the numbers, and we're going to see how much is 6,641 by 9. Okay, so, oh my God, this is such a pain. So you would have to go ahead and do long division, which I'm not going to do because then this video will be forever. And your answer for this one would just be 1,849. All right. And don't believe me, go ahead and do the math. Do it on the calculator, don't do it by hand. But like I'm saying, if you're having trouble just doing long division, long multiplication, then this is definitely not your problem. Skip it for right now. Come to it later and just kind of guess on it. Because I'm pretty sure you can kind of decide, okay, it's not 43. It's not 86. It's such a big number. It has to be something big. So yeah, my answer is just D. All right, let's go ahead and do 20. And then later we're going to do I'm going to take a little break, because this one's, they do take a toll on you. Now this one is pretty easy. You just need to know how to read. So for 20, it's going to tell you the frequency table summarizes 57 data values in the data set. What is the maximum data value in the data set? This is what we're going to do. Which one are we looking for? That data value. And which one's the highest? 14. That is my answer. That's all you got to do. As long as you know how to read a table, then you can do that one. All right, I'm going to stop it right here, and then I'm going to come back and finish all the other ones. All right, so I need to figure out how I'm going to explain it, because this is going to start getting kind of hard, especially the last couple of you from 23 down. Yeah, those are quite a handful. So I'm going to stop right here, and it's probably going to be the same video, but I need to take a little break. I'm going to do something else. I've been doing too much math all day. I've been talking too much, so I'll be back.